All right, how's everybody doing today? This is Coach Jason. We got Coach Johnny and Coach Allison going to do our workout for us today. We're going to start out like we always do with a warm-up, get our bones moving, our joints moving, our blood flowing. We're going to start with 5 downward dog to upward dog with a push-up. You don't have to do a dive bomber push-up. You can just go forward into a plank if you want, and then drop down into downward dog. Throw in a few upward dogs. We got some pressing coming up, so we want to get our shoulders and our arms nice and warm. After 5 of those, roll over on your back. We're going to do 5 hollow rocks. If you can, arms extended above your head, just like Johnny's doing there, toes pointed. Trying to keep your body in a relatively static position and just tightening and relaxing your muscles to get that rock. After 5 of those, let's do a pigeon stretch. 20 to 30 seconds on each leg. Remember, it's not just about what's going on with your hip in front. Try to extend your back leg as much as you can. You can get an additional stretch back there in your other leg. Go ahead and switch. All right, that's probably good on the pigeon. Let's stand up. Let's get in 5 air squats. After the 5th one, stay in the bottom and roll around in a sumo stretch for 10 or 15 seconds. All right, go ahead and stand up. We're going to get in 5 good mornings. So hands somewhere on your hips or out in front wherever you think they're comfortable. Hinge at your hips just until you start to feel a stretch in your hamstring and stand back up. Fully extend, shoulders in line with your hips and your heels. After those 5, let's get an instep on each side. We're going to go through this one more time as part of our warm-up, so if you want to do a twist like Johnny's doing, or just start to do a twist, you can do that now, or you can wait until we go through for our second time. Go ahead and switch legs if you haven't already. All right, start back at the top of our warm-up. Downward dog to upward dog with a push-up somewhere in there. Again, these don't have to be dive bomber push-ups. They can if you want, but you can just do your push-up, go forward into a plank from your downward dog, do your push-up, and then finish out in upward dog. After those 5, we're going to roll back on our backs and get in 5 hollow rocks. We're going to go pigeon again, 15 to 20 seconds on each leg. When you're in these static stretches, don't just think you're getting into position, think about what's stretching. And what part of your body can you move slightly differently and you get a different pull somewhere maybe you haven't seen that pull before. All right, our next set of 5 air squats. Since we're starting to get really warm, let's add a little bit more dynamic to this warm-up. Let's do a squat jump, 5 of those. Then after the 5th one, hang out in sumo. Roll around a little bit again, get those ankles engaged. Then stand up 5 more good mornings. Again, just until you feel your hamstrings start to pull. After those 5, we're going to finish up again with our instep stretch. Try to get a twist in this time, especially if you didn't in the first round. Ideally, that arm is coming straight up over your shoulder, relatively straight line from fingertip to fingertip. All right, looking great. That does it for our warm-up. All right, we're going to get into our strength portion this morning. First, we're going to have some demos of the movement. The first exercise is going to be 6x6 tall kneeling press. So you'll be kneeling on both knees. You'll have one kettlebell or one dumbbell. And you will just, it's a strict press, so you just press the weight right up over your shoulder. You can see a good side view of Johnny there. So he's pushing his head through as if he had a barbell. It's that same motion. Allison's doing the same thing, you just can't quite see it from that angle. You'll do 6 on one side, then 6 on the other. The point of kneeling is to eliminate any help from your knees. It's to keep you from cheating into a push press or anything like that. So make sure you keep that in mind as you're doing it. Try not to take a little dip down with your hips. The next exercise we're going to have is bent over rows. So if you've got a table or a chair, or you can use your leg, lean one hand down, and you're going to pull that weight right up just like that. Make sure your elbow's staying in tight to the side of your body, pull all the way up, a slight pause at the top, and then let it back down. These should be slow, controlled movements, especially if you're using a little bit lighter weight than you might normally would. All right, so our strength, it's going to be 4 times through. 6 and 6 tall kneeling press, 6 and 6 bent over rows, rest for 90 seconds. So you can see Allison's using a kettlebell, so she's got a slight rotation in her arm, which is perfectly fine. You can see also with that kettlebell, she's coming straight down to a nice good front rack. She's not pulling that kettlebell way out to the side, and she's not resting it on her shoulder. In these bent over rows, especially if you're using your leg like Johnny and Allison are, make sure you're conscious of what your back is doing. It shouldn't be rounded, it should be nice and straight like these two. You can also see they're doing a very good job of keeping their hips square to the floor. It's not a starting the lawnmower type of movement where you're just pulling with all your might and getting that thing as high as you can and rotating your back. Make sure you've got a clock going. I think Johnny's got a way to edit in a timer, but this rest should be about 90 seconds.
Just want everyone to know that I am using more weight than Allison.
How much more?
9 pounds.
9?
Oh no! Not anymore.
Not anymore.
You don't have that in the house, so.
I do actually. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Not something I do.
Speaking of, if you haven't saw those notifications yet, which I can't believe that you wouldn't, Johnny's going to do some equipment checkout. Make sure you take advantage of that if you need some weight to do these workouts with us. All right, so they're getting right back into it. These aren't barbells, but it's still weight, so make sure you're setting your core, you're keeping everything nice and tight, and you're setting yourself up for success as you start to push this weight over your head. And forget everything else. Just do pretty good. So I guess it's all right coaching you two, but I'd much rather have a class of our members. We do miss y'all. We miss y'all a lot. Looking forward to everybody getting back in the gym once this is over. You could do the Roger Rabbit.
Do it again.
That's the running man. That's.
I only know why.
All right, coming up on round 3. Hopefully, whoever is editing these can find some way to pull out some stills. I think there's a couple blue steels, maybe a Tigra in there. For sure, a Magnum. All right, it's their 3rd round and they're getting a little bit fatigued, but they are still staying in control of their movements, as should you. Got one more rest.
No, completely not.
Do you know any jokes, Allison?
Yeah, usually do the punchline and then mess them all over.
Oh, do you Quentin Tarantino them? Like you just lead with a punchline?
Yeah, I get too excited and I get straight to the laugh. There's no like.
That sounds like me. Sometimes I just start giggling and people ask me what. So you just have to be inside my head.
No one wants that, Jason.
All right, last round. Like I mentioned, it's the last one, but stay in control of your movements. Johnny and Allison are looking pretty good. They look just as in control as their first round. They're keeping their hips pushed forward, not slouching at their back. All right, that does it for our strength. All right, welcome back everybody. Our conditioning today is a 16-minute EMOM. We're gonna demo the movements first. The first thing is going to be burpee jump lunges. So that's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. You're going to do a burpee, and then when you're coming up from your burpee, you're going to do jump lunges, one on each leg. And that is a burpee jump lunge. The next movement, we're only going to have 2 minutes for this EMOM, is 15 kettlebell or dumbbell swings. If you don't have a kettlebell or a dumbbell, you can use a gallon of water. If you use a gallon of any kind of cleaning solvent, make sure the lid is on tightly. All right, so 16-minute EMOM. Every odd minute, we're gonna do 6 burpee jump lunges, so it'll end up being a total of 6 burpees and 12 jump lunges, because as we know, everybody got 2 legs, and that's math. And then every even minute, it's gonna be 15 kettlebell swings, dumbbell swings, or gallon jug swings, whatever you've got. So, you two ready? We're gonna get started in 10 seconds. So you can see they're getting their knee nice and close to the ground. If you don't feel like you can touch the ground without slamming your knee into it, don't touch the ground. Your knees are important. They're keeping their bodies nice and upright when they're doing those lunges. They're not leaned way over. And their knees are not coming way out past their toes. All right. We got about 20 seconds rest, 25 seconds rest. All right, 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. 15 kettlebell swings. You can see Johnny's doing a very good example of not leaning way back at the top of that swing. Once his back reaches vertical, it stays there. And he's using the momentum that he's produced with his hips to get the weight up there. Numbers, guys, not words. All right. Got a little bit more rest this time. I don't want me to say it. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Burpee jump lunges. Tell you what, I'm glad I'm coaching this one. Burpee jump lunges seem like a terrible idea. Hey Johnny, for some reason this camera has decided just to autofocus on Allison and not you. What do you think that means?
No. Should I just step out?
Just do 3.
Does that mean I'm moving too fast?
I'm sure that's what it means. I'm sure.
It must be.
Almost there. 6 more rounds.
Almost. All right, 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. Looking good. All right, I'm sure you can tell by watching in the video, like I said before with Johnny getting that weight up, the power is being generated with their hips. They're not lifting it with their arms. So make sure you're pushing that weight forward against your wrist or your arms by pushing your hips. 10 seconds.
First time.
Allison's trying out for West Side Story. 3, 2, 1, go! Oh, look at that. She means business. Allison and Johnny are both jumping back on their burpee, but you can take a step back if you want instead of jumping back.
It's always a great job.
You're not first, you're last. Shake and bake. It's probably copyrighted.
Stir the pot, stir the break.
Oh yeah. Stir in your pot of soup. What kind of soup you got, Allison?
I forget what they got. No!
It's
Mine's the Irish stew.
Irish stew. Mine's yes.
5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. My dad used to say they had hot water soup when he was a kid. And half the time it was cold. I think it's 1. Isn't that the rule? Lose count? All right. Almost is so subjective.
It's like 4 rounds, right?
10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. They're keeping up good burpees. Their hips and chest are making it to the floor still. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. Great swings, y'all. If you notice, they're keeping a pretty consistent level on their swings. That's the accuracy bit coming out. You should have a target and you should go for it. Get it every time. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1, go.
Should we get a fan so our wrist is better?
What's that?
Get a fan.
I don't know if we can make Johnny's hair any better than it is right now. I'm loving this. I'd give a paycheck to have that hair.
It might be
10 seconds.
Costs a lot to look this good.
A merman pop. 2, 1, go. If you're able to get out and continue supporting local businesses, please go to Treeline and order a fine DJ. You gotta order it from her, an orange mocha frappuccino. Please ask her for that. I wanna know what she says.
Comment below.
10 seconds. Three, 2, 1, go. All right, their knees are still looking really good on these jump lunges. They're in control of their movements, even though they're getting a little tired. They're still keeping up their speed. If you need to slow down to make sure you have good movement and good posture and good form, by all means, slow down a little bit. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. You can see at the top of their swings, their eyes are coming forward, they're looking straight ahead. This helps them maintain the correct posture in their back. If they're looking up or looking down, your back is going to tend to go that direction as well. Two more each.
Yeah. Should we take that to 8?
I don't know. Try to do this every day.
Shoot. All right, 10 seconds. Sounds like Allison has challenged Johnny. 8. Oh, sorry about that. Look at him go. They could have been done by now. All right. So we got a good 25 seconds worth of rest.
Probably 10 was the last one.
You do that. Why don't you do 20?
10 seconds. There is such a thing as bullying in the gym. 3, 2, 1, go. Even after all those burpee jump lunges, they are still doing great kettlebell swings. Again, pushing with your hips. Your arms are there to keep the kettlebell from flying through the window and to guide it up to the stopping position. All right, 10 seconds. You doing 10, Allison? Allison's doing 10. Johnny's doing 6. 3, 2, 1, go.
You're gonna do it.
All right, looking good. Keep it up. Y'all at home too, I see you. Don't slack off.
So 10?
Yeah.
All right. Still have 20 seconds worth of rest. Ten seconds. You're getting there. You're getting there. 3, 2, 1, go. Breathing hard, but they're keeping good form. They know it's important. All right.
Sorry, guys.
Woo! That's it. Yeah.
Neither of us can do like that.
All right. We got our recovery coming up. We're going to start with hurdler stretch. So they've both got their bent foot coming in towards their inner thigh. They're leaning over. They're trying to get their hamstring stretched out. They're pulling back on their toe. They're leaning forward. You can also put your hand from on one side of your foot or the other. They'll pull slightly different places. If you can get that bent leg bent behind you, if you've got that hip flexibility, hang out there for 20 or 30 seconds. If you're so far forward that you can't relax in this stretch, maybe you're a little bit too far forward. Try grabbing your ankle or the bottom of your shin instead. Go ahead and switch legs if you haven't already. All right, our next recovery pose is going to be child's pose. We're all pretty familiar with this. We'll have our feet close together, our knees farther apart than our feet are. Our butt as close to our heels as we can get it, our arms outstretched, forehead on the ground. It doesn't look like an active pose, but it should be. You should really be stretching your hands out forward. You see Allison and Johnny inching their fingertips a little bit further as they relax into this. As you're in these poses, these static poses, you should be controlling your breathing, get everything slowed down. All right, we're going to finish up with reverse plank. You yoga folks might know this as table pose. You super yoga folks know the real name. I don't know it. But your palms should be directly underneath your shoulders. Your feet should be directly underneath your knees. If you can get 90 degrees at your arms and 90 degrees at your knees, that's great. This is a very active pose. You can see Allison starting to shake a little bit. Yeah. So hang out here for about 30 seconds or as long as you can if 30 seconds isn't in the cards for you. And then that's all we have for you. Great workout.